The first thing I'm going to do is mark 24 inches. And use a square to transfer that mark across the board. And I'll take my crosscut saw. There we go. So my board is now at 24 inches long. I'm going to straighten one side, one edge of the board with my hand plane. So I've got one straight edge here. I'm going to add a decorative profile to the top edge here. So to lay that out, see what I'll do. I like to add two curves like this here. So I'm going to measure up, say 2 inches, 1 3/4 here. And then 1 3/4 here, and I will go 8.5 inches. I'm just doing whatever looks right here. 8.5 inches looks good to me. So I've got 2 marks here at 8.5 from the ends, 2 marks here at 1 3/4 from the bottom. And I'm going to drive one in at each point here. Oops. That was a little bit too close to the edge, so I'm going to move it in a little bit. There, that's good. Now I've got a flexible piece of wood here. This is ash. It's about 1/8 inch thin, very flexible, pliable. So what I'm going to do is press it against those 2 nails. And draw my curve like that. 1. Doesn't need to be too precise. Those look good to me though. So nails come out. And now I've got my 2 lines which I want to cut out. I'm just going to use a chisel and a mallet. So with the grain I get a clean, controlled cut. Once I start going against the grain, it's going to start running out ahead like it was there. That's because I was coming back up out of the cut, out of the wood. So when I keep plunging, I get a controlled cut. As soon as I stop plunging, I get run out and I split it ahead of my cut line. I'm okay with it splitting because I'm still above my line. I'll show you in a minute. I've got the chisel bevel down, and the way I angle the chisel controls if I go deeper or come out of the cut. If I want to go deeper, I raise the handle more. I'm just going to finish up with hand pressure. You can see that I'm pretty close to the line. I'm about an 1/8 inch away. I'm going to readjust the board so it's roughly level here. And just come in with my weight behind the chisel. I'm going a little bit against the grain at the very end there, but that's alright. I'm watching my line on the side, making sure I don't exceed the line. It's not too critical here, but still we like to stay within the line. Right at that very end I'm getting a bit of tear out, so I might come around in the other direction to finish that off. Notice that I always have two hands on the chisel. I never have one hand in front of the chisel. I'll never cut myself this way. So it's getting a bit of tear out here, so I'm going to turn the board around and just clean up this little bit here. Tear out is a little bit of roughness you get when you're going against the grain. Sometimes you just need to turn the board around to get it. So just work in whichever direction gives you the most control and the smoothest cut. And light cuts always help too. There we go. There's one curve roughed out. So this is my draw knife here. It's got a sharp edge along here. Again, I'm using it bevel down. You can use it bevel up as well. It may seem dangerous that I'm pulling the tool towards me, but my arms will lock up here. It would be very difficult for me to actually hit myself with the draw knife. Really close to my line here, so I'm going to be a little bit more careful now. I get a little bit more control if I slide the knife along. I can take very fine controlled cuts this way. That's pretty good there. You can see that I'm very close to my line. I'm going to use another tool here, a spoke shader, to clean up to the line. And again, these are just different ways of doing the same task. The chisel works just fine. It was pretty quick. This is just another way of achieving the same task. Looking for square here. Cut a smooth curve. Here's the profile of my Br'all. And the surface is pretty good. I'm going to give it a quick smoothing. Dogs. Nice to have round dogs that swivel so I can grab odd shapes like this here. I'm just going to use a card scraper here to clean up the surface a bit, make it a little bit smoother. There were some ridges left by the power planer. I can pull it or I can push it. I tend to get a little bit more control, a little bit more finesse on the pull stroke, but I can be more aggressive on the push stroke. That's good. The other side. I'm just using my hands to feel for any inconsistencies. I can feel something right here. Focus a little bit more there. Good, got that. Now the end that I saw it, I need to clean up there. Don't want it to look that messy. So I'm just going to use my chisel again to pare the end grain. So a little bit lower to about there. Perpendicular. And my paring technique is light cuts, and I'm drawing the chisel in an arc. Making very light cuts. And I'm not going to go straight off the edge, otherwise I'll get some spelching, some blowout on the end. So I'm going to work close to the edge, and then I'll turn around and come the other direction. I could use a plane here as well. You can also use a block plane for this task here. With the fine cut I actually get very little blowout at the end. I get a little bit, not much though. Check for square, not too critical, but it's good practice. So there we go, that's the shape cut out. These edges here feel a little bit hard, so I'm just going to take them off like that. Okay, the last step will be to drill a hole from which to hang the br'all. So I've got a 3/8 inch bit here. This is my backer board, it'll prevent blowing out the back of the hole. Put that in my vise. Line up the bit with the hole, the center point, and okay, made it through already there, didn't I? Now you're probably wondering what a br'all does, and this is what it does. It is for